this beach, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I just started a job up at the university.
Oh, cool. What do you do?
I'm a biologist there. I study different interacting species and how their interactions really shape the world around us that supports and sustains us.
Oh, no way. I was almost a marine biology major. Then my parents told me I'd never be able to get a job. But joke's on them. I decided to become a surfer instead.
Right on. Actually, when you're out there surfing in those waves, you're right among some of the species I study, the phytoplankton. You probably remember them. They're like basically the marine plants that produce half of the oxygen that we breathe.
Yeah, totally. Like kelp, right?
Yeah, like kelp in that they're both photosynthetic. So they're both using the energy of sunlight to fix carbon and grow and also to produce oxygen. But unlike kelp, so kelp, as you know, are really big, right? And they're anchored onto the bottom with these holdfasts. But phytoplankton float at the surface of the water. And so all over the world's oceans, we have phytoplankton making up the base of the marine food web.
Okay, cool. I don't really like kelp. Last summer I broke a fin on my board when I snagged it on some kelp.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you know, here in Santa Barbara and in the coastal channel, both the kelp and the phytoplankton are really important because they form the base of the marine food web. So all of the richness and diversity of life that we enjoy here relies on this as their source of food and energy. Everything from the rockfish and the crabs that we love to eat to the whales and the dolphins that we see cruising by sometimes. And so by understanding these phytoplankton and protecting the base of this ecosystem, we're really protecting the entire channel that we love to enjoy.
Oh, cool. So these are the interacting species you said you studied?
Yeah, that's right. So part of the work that my lab does is understanding both how those phytoplankton live and grow and also what happens to them, who eats them, and recently we've gotten really interested in how climate change could affect these species interactions.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just got in a long debate this morning at the farmer's market about this climate change business. Honestly, I'm sick of hearing about it. I mean, people keep saying that it's gonna get too hot or too dry or too stormy, but here we are, another beautiful day, just like yesterday, just like last month, just like last year.
Yeah, you know, I hear you. It can be really hard to detect such a global scale process of big scale change in our daily lives. But can I share with you something that helps me to understand it? So basically, as you know, when we burn fossil fuels like oil and gas when we're driving our cars or flying in the airplane, heating our homes, we are releasing a gas called carbon dioxide. And so what happens is that this gas goes up into the Earth's atmosphere. So the way that the atmosphere works is it's basically like this heat-trapping blanket that wraps around the planet and helps to insulate it and keep it warm. What happens is that by adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, we're effectively thickening the heat-trapping blanket. So that's like swapping out a 3 mil wetsuit for a 5 or something. Right?
Okay.
And so when you add more carbon dioxide and thicken the blanket, the planet gets warmer.
Okay, cool. I'll tell that to the avocado guy. But what do phytoplankton have to do with it?
That's right. So when the whole planet gets warm, the ocean gets warmer too. And just like you and I, phytoplankton have a temperature optimum, a temperature range that they prefer to be at. And actually, if they get too hot, they can die. So just like on land, sometimes you'll hear about how species shift up mountains or towards the poles to kind of stay at cooler at the right temperatures for themselves as the planet warms. Similarly, in the ocean, what we're seeing is that phytoplankton are moving towards the poles and away from the equator, trying to stay within their ideal temperature range. But one thing that we don't know is what's going to happen in the parts of the ocean that'll get the hottest, like right around the equator. Because so far, it's not clear that there are any phytoplankton that can survive at the temperatures that are as hot as we think that the world might get.
Okay, so all my buddies in Hawaii are doomed to a life of no seafood?
You know, you make a great point that, like, you know, by understanding what happens to the phytoplankton, then we have implications for the whole food web. And you're right that we need to think about what the consequences are going to be for us. And an important thing for us to do as communities now is to think about what we can do to work together to actually try to prevent that from happening by addressing the causes of climate change today. And actually here in Santa Barbara, we have really awesome opportunities to be part of a community that's really addressing climate change. So you mentioned that you just went to the farmers market, and actually farmers markets are really great community ways that we eat locally, and not only do we get lots of delicious fresh fruits and vegetables, but we're also reducing the amount of distance that our food travels, which reduces the carbon dioxide that's associated with moving it from place to place.
Oh, okay.
And another thing about Santa Barbara, so I was just at the Earth Day Festival a couple of weeks ago up at the park, and I learned that we are actually, as a community, ahead of the targets that Governor Brown set for California for carbon dioxide emissions reductions. So for example, one of the ways that we can all be involved is by being part of the Santa Barbara Bicycle Coalition. And so I'm sure you can think of places around town that are a little hairy to bike in these days. So one of the things that you can do is work with the coalition to lobby to get bike lanes put into those places to make biking a more sustainable and carbon neutral lifestyle for all of us. And you can also, there's a new petition going around asking the city to replace our bus fleet with zero emissions vehicles. So you can sign on to that as well and help motivate this community level change that can help us be better stewards of the planet and protect everything from the phytoplankton to all of the species that we enjoy.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for explaining that to me. I'll look into it. But I gotta go before the tide burns this break.
All right, see ya.